Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Living Tomorrow Today. So if you remember from my last video where I talked about the hitch, I said that this was just a temporary solution so that we could drive the RV from Explorer USA to our house, which is just 5 miles away. We are planning on taking a little trip to break in the new RV, but for that trip, I definitely do not want to pull a 37-foot trailer with just a ball. There it is, guys, our new Hensley hitch. We just got it in the mail, and I've been wanting to, actually we've had it in the mail for about a week, and now that I'm back from work, I want to go ahead and put it together. I wanted to do an actual unboxing, you know, kind of pull everything out, let you see all of that, but I have to open it up a little bit before that because I want to look at the instructions and make sure there are no tools that I may need that I don't have. And if that's the case, I want to either go purchase them or see if I can borrow some of those tools from AutoZone or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to take care of that real quick, and then we can get into putting this Hensley hitch together. Hensley Arrow. Here's the main part of the Hensley hitch. I think I might just actually leave that in the box. I don't see the point in taking it out. Holy cow, that's heavy. Hitch helper. And that's it. Alright guys, so that is everything that comes with the hitch. I did get this on sale, I guess. I got a deal when I called. It was the end of the year, so they were having a sale. And then on top of that, I got a few extra goodies, like that cover right there. I think that cover's like 50 bucks. It doesn't come with it. Got a heavier shank right there. It is an expensive hitch. It's probably one of the most expensive hitches. But like I read in a forum, you know, you spend all this money on a RV. I didn't want to try and nickel and dime on the one piece of equipment that could save our lives and that could keep us safe and protect the entire RV. So I went ahead and made the investment, and we're happy that we did it. Be sure the tow vehicle and trailer on level ground. It's level enough, I guess. Insert the hitch bar into the hitch receiver of tow vehicle. Secure the hitch bar with the hitch pin and clip. All right, step one is done. All right, step two, insert the hitch. Oh, that was step two. Step one was ensuring it's level. Lift up the main hitch assembly and slide the hitch box over the end of the hitch bar. OCL, over center latches. Rotate the over center latches. These are the over center latches right here. Mm-hmm. So maybe these, we do need to adjust these.
Okay, so they should go in all the way, right? They should, close over it.
Yeah, this should go over. Okay, I don't feel like they should be that tight.
Okay, so what did you just discover? Because
I'm having difficulty putting these in. So what's going to happen is that I use this right here, and it should go out, and then these OCL latches will go all the way in and be parallel to this bar. But it's a little too hard right now, so what the instructions tell me in a big section called hint that I didn't read. Basically it's saying if this is too easy to latch on, then just twist these things out, and if it's too hard like it is right now, shorten them by twisting them back in. So that is what I'm doing, I think. Yeah, I'm going to shorten them a little bit. Maybe I need a little more. I think that was good. And this is how they came out of the box. So at least for me, they came a little too far out. So I'm just going to twist them in. There we go.
So now they're where they're supposed to be.
So it says to align these two squares that come.
They're already on there?
Yeah, because they're already on there. So this obviously twists. So I think they're just saying don't have it like this. Just have it lined up right there. Okay, so that's the next step. All right, so now it says to grease the ball here liberally because this will be permanently attached to the RV, and then the disconnection will only happen when I take this out. So all of this will remain attached to the RV.
I think it's good, baby. I think it's good. It looks like raspberry or blood.
It tastes like it too. Now we have to raise this section,
the trailer,
above the ball so that it can go in. So.
Okay. Perfect.
A tip that I learned, and you guys
at the dealership,
is that when you're trying to hook up the ball, any ball, to whether it's Hensley or anything, to your trailer, once you back up to the perfect spot, use your e-brake to stop your vehicle, because if you put it in park like I was doing, as soon as you let off the brake, it's going to shift an inch forward or back depending on how your truck is. So
all that hard work that you do just goes right out the window.
So put the e-brake on, that way the vehicle doesn't move, and then put it in park. All right, so what does it say now? Bring it down, I'm assuming?
Lower coupler onto the ball and back into place, allowing the tongue jack to continue supporting the weight.
Okay, so we were lowering the ball, and then what did you realize that you hadn't done?
I didn't put these safety pins in there.
So we stopped. It's not all the way down yet.
It is. And if it's not, it's because the truck's not
far enough back.
Yeah.
Okay, so lift it back up.
But let me just make sure.
You're pushing the truck down.
There,
no.
There. So we forgot to lift these up as we're lowering the front. Okay guys, so another newbie mistake was that the latch was not going in all the way, and the instructions say that to hook the latch onto the hitch while still maintaining the weight of the RV held up by the jack. Mm-hmm. But I was having trouble getting this in, and all I had to do was, Nicole suggested putting some grease on it, and I did. I just took the little bit of grease and I just rubbed it on the sides, and it slid right in. So
well, the problem was that you thought it wasn't in there all the way, right? You thought that the hitch wasn't properly attached, and so we kept adjusting it.
Right, yeah, I couldn't tell. I thought this wasn't in all the way because this wasn't going down, and all I had to do was just grease it, just to like a hair. So again, make sure that you have the weight of the RV maintained by the jack and connect it, and if you are having a little bit of trouble with this, try maybe greasing that just on the sides, and it went right in.
Yeah.
Installation of frame brackets. On the trailer's A-frame, that's this A-frame, measure 25 1/2 inches. Oh yeah, inches back from the center. Well, it didn't say, it just had a diagram. Back from the center of the ball, and mark this point on the trailer A-frame. Okay, so
seat the frame bracket on the trailer A-frame with the front edge on the mark.
All right, so we have two brackets
that are exactly the same ish.
Our truck is in front of me in that direction, and I am on the right side of the RV, or on the right side of the truck, right side of the RV.
Passenger side.
Yes, on the passenger side, and you have two brackets. The bracket that goes on the right side has, I'm going to call this the ramp that goes out that way, and it sits there. So you just lift the top. This is where our mark is, and the edge of this frame bracket just goes right there where that mark is, with the hole behind it, I guess you could say, and that's where it goes like that.
The single hole is in the back, the 3 holes are in the front.
Yep. So, because this will sit also, but then the holes would be backwards. So, just make sure, again, that the ramp is going out toward your vehicle as opposed to back towards the RV.
What V?
Okay, so we're measuring again before we start drilling any holes one more time, because it's close to the propane tanks. So.
Oh, and if you just noticed that all we did was take the cover off of our propane tanks because it was kind of getting in the way. So that's the only difference now that you notice that you can see our tanks. It's why you can see them. So that's optional. And so we found that removing the nuts from the U-bolts makes it a little easier for them to go in. And then the plate just goes right there.
So washer first.
Washer first and then the nut, okay. Okay guys, so here's what we've done is we installed the 2 U-bolts on the right side, and then you just use the plates with the washer and nut to tighten them down. And these will be tightened down to 45 pounds with our torque wrench. And then you have to make sure that you leave space for the hole where you're going to drill, because these can slide over and cover it, so you don't want to do that.
So I think we're gonna drill here, and then I don't know if you want to drill one up here, because these are the most easily accessible. There's one back here, but you can't get to it anymore.
The instructions say to use any 2 of the 4 available, so yeah, that's why Nicole's talking about using one here, and then there's
one up here on the
some
top.
on top. So I guess
a little,
that's what we'll do. I'm not even sure how you're supposed to access the one in there.
There's one way back here.
But anyways, so on this side you can see that Nicole had to put the U-bolts, she had to move some of this wiring out of the way just to make sure that the U-bolts go in. So okay guys, so a correction from what I said earlier. In the instructions it does say that you might need a 7/16 drill bit, but the Hensley does come with a 5/16 drill bit, and this is what I actually used. You use the 7/16 if you have a C-frame, which I honestly don't know what that is, but apparently I don't. Use this with the self-tapping bolts, which you have 4 of, and it is a little bit of a challenge to get them in there. So I got this side done, and you have 4 holes that you can use. I chose this one here and the one on top, but I'll show you on that side the whole drilling process. And I did have to remove one of our tanks so that I could drill into this part of the frame right here. The self-tapping screws, they take a little bit of force into them. I was not able to do it with just a flathead screwdriver. You know, you just can't get enough torque on it. So I ended up using this guy right here, and with that you can grab enough power to it, and you work it in there, and once it starts to make its way about halfway down, it does get a little easier, and then you can get it all the way down. So now we will take one of these self-tapping screws. I'm gonna glove up because I've already hit my hand a whole bunch of times. All right, so instead of using that wrench or thing, this is much quicker. Eden suggested using these, and I don't know why I didn't think about it either. And I'm using a size 14, so that seems to be the right size for the self-tapping screws. And there we go. So that's the first one. Now I'm just gonna drill that one right there. And that is how you bolt them down. Okay, so now we have to insert these. Well, first I greased this right here, actually.
You had to take the piece off.
To remove, it says to remove this little guy right here. And it comes with this Allen wrench, so you just loosen it up and it'll slide right out. And then you got to grease this right here. And then you have to extend these jacks. And a quick way to do that is using a 3/4 thingy. All right, so now what? It says to place these on by having the barrel of the jack in front of the pin toward the tow vehicle. So there's the truck, here's the RV, here's the barrel. Just make sure that it's like that, facing the truck. And then it says to replace the locking pin.
Or the locking collar.
Yeah, locking collar.
And tightening the set screw into the recess on the mounting pin with an Allen wrench.
Which is provided.
The recess is normally located on the top of the mounting pin.
So here is the locking collar. Just loosen that up.
Just a minute, baby. So I can catch a fish.
So repeat from the other side. Wow, that's a lot. Barrel faces the tow vehicle.
So as he unscrewed,
so this
that little tiny piece right there.
This little screw does come out all the way. I think I got it on video actually. Does come out all the way, and it will fall down to the ground. And
you might or might not have to dig around in the grass and try and find it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now we have to install the spring bars, and what I have to do is apply some grease by hand liberally, and then the spring bar is going to go into this hole right here. And this grease zerk goes through this and sticks out on the inside. And when I push this in, you got to kind of force it up, and you'll hear like a little snap. I don't know, I guess there's this, oh yeah, there is, it says there's a spring on the zerk, so it's basically going to kind of, the zerk's going to hit and then snap into this groove right here. And when it's done, and once it does that, this will be held up by that right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little pins out, and I'll be able to put this in here, and that'll hold the entire spring bar in place. We did that on the other side. It took a few minutes to figure out. The instructions are clear.
Really they're wordy.
Yeah, they're really wordy. So, but that's basically all we have to do. So let's go ahead and get that started.
Do you want to take those pins out first back there before you're all greasy?
Yeah, that's a good idea. And one thing also was that these pins that I'm taking out, for whatever reason, they didn't seem to fit the same way.
They're not long enough to go all the way through there,
yeah, so
and through the housing.
Yeah, so we found some other ones. I think the kit comes with a whole lot of extra pieces, and we found some that were just a little bit longer that fit perfectly. So hopefully we won't need those in the upcoming step, but if as long as we don't, that's where they went. So let me
clean hands.
make sure my hands are clean. You don't want any pebbles or anything like that, because obviously this will be moving. So we'll see if we can get you to hear the snap. It slides in. So now it's being held up there by itself.
Here's your pins.
And then, how many holes? Oh crap.
Broken.
We're gonna pause the video for a second and figure out why these are not the same length and how we can get them the same, showing the same amount of holes, and then we'll explain to you guys how we did it. So in our setup, we have the 1,400 pound springs. We should have 2 holes showing, one hole for this and one hole right above it, which is what we got over there.
Okay, so we thought we figured it out.
Okay guys, we figured out the problem. The reason we could not get the same number of pins to show on this side, which is 2, and on the other side where Nicole is, which we kept getting 3, was because we did not have enough weight of the trailer supported by the jack. the trailer still has to, and the instructions do say that it has to be supported, but when I was attaching this part right here, I dropped the weight some, and I thought I put enough weight back on it, but apparently I didn't. And as soon as I lowered this a little bit more to get the weight off of it, the pin went right in. So just make sure that you are still supporting the weight of your trailer with your jack stand. We got the other strut put in. It took a little bit of figuring out, but we got it. So we are going to walk you through, take these out. And the instructions are a little confusing, but we'll explain it. So,
what you do?
You want to get this into the hole, and this is called the
locking sleeve post.
Okay. So this little nipple thing right here is called the locking sleeve post. You need to make sure that is up, and what that's going to do is just kind of lock right there. Okay. The whole purpose of this section right here is just to tighten this nut right here, and then this whole thing slides out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and
break it.
I'm going to go ahead and put this in now, and this goes from the outside in.
And this is the only one where it wants you to put it in on the back side.
Yeah. So, and it wants you to put it all the way through. It says that specifically, and then it says to choose whichever hole makes this parallel with your A-frame, which we found for us. Uh-oh. Why is it doing that? That's not right.
Pause again.
Hey guys, so we finished day one of trying to install the Hensley. It did not go, it was not a successful install. One of the sides just seemed like it was off a little bit, and we could not get a pin that had to go in through the holes, and I think you saw part of that. So we don't know what's wrong. We tried adjusting a bunch of stuff. Hensley does have a service number that we can call, so we're going to do that tomorrow. Hopefully they'll be open, and we can try and get some guidance on what we did wrong. So we will get that done tomorrow, and hopefully get it installed.
And why can't we do it today?
Because I got to go to work.
What's the other reason why we can't?
Oh yeah, it's Christmas. It's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We spent the whole day outside trying to put a hitch on.
Yep. It was fun.
It was raining a little bit.
It started. Yeah.
It started raining.
So, all right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, well, welcome to part 2 of trying to install our Hensley hitch. Part 2, day 2. So since the other day when we were unable to completely install it, I just called Hensley, and we talked on the phone, and they gave me some suggestions that were extremely helpful. And one thing they suggested was that perhaps one of the struts that we are having trouble with, which is this one right here, this strut right here, they said that it's possible that there's a slight mishap with the weld that is giving us the issue. They said that if that's the problem, to let them know that we couldn't get it on, and they'll send us a new one. But also they said to disconnect the hitch from the truck, which we had it connected the whole time, and that might be part of the problem. But they said to disconnect it, that'll give you more wiggle room, and if it works, then we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and try it again with the hitch disconnected, and hopefully we can get it to work. And I think if we can get this strut right here, that's the problem right there. We can either get this side in, but then this side won't, or we can get this side in, which we already have right now, but then the angle right here will be off. So if we can get that, then I think we're almost done with the whole installation. So let's get to it. We got the pin in, which was giving us the problem. Now both sides are in, and what we figured out was that we had to remove the sleeve from here, because the sleeve just comes out, and we had this nut further back, So we...
Not by much. It wasn't that far back, but the whole problem was that the angle was wrong. This was too far twisted sideways at an angle to get this straight pin in. So the guy on the phone had told us that if we turn this a little bit, basically we had to shorten this peg, we had to shorten this rod so that we could turn the orange part to where it was at the right angle, and that we could get the pin to go in, because it was too much, like this was straight and our pin was sideways, and so it wouldn't go in. It was missing just by a tiny bit. So by moving this and shortening this, it gave us some wiggle room to turn this to the right angle in order to get the pin in over here. So it's in.
I think the key is, one, connect this while it's not hooked up to your tow vehicle, because the instructions make it seem like you leave it connected to the tow vehicle, and that restricts the play that all of this has. And now that we took it off, there's a lot more play in it, and it was much easier to get in there. So you got to play with it, you got to wiggle stuff around, and you know, not be afraid to use a little muscle to move stuff, and I think you'll get it. So okay, so now we're gonna continue with the process. Here's one more tip, guys. These things right here, this actual part slips out. So once we got it on, we realized that when we put it back on, it was turned around, so this didn't reach all the way over here. But that was just a simple fix. All we had to do was just disconnect this side, pull it out, flip it around, and we're good. So if that happens, that's your problem. Remember that these handles close down towards your tow vehicle, towards the front.
It goes over.
And it goes over that little knot right there, just like that. Once these bars are installed, they should feel like a solid piece and should not be loose. So when you shake it, they should be solid. And if they are not, all you have to do is bring this back and tighten this down. Not like crazy tight, but a solid feel to it. And then just bring it back, and then just give it a shake, and it's good. If you move this and this starts shaking, it's not solid enough, and you need to just tighten it down a little bit more.
But don't put all your weight on it.
Yeah,
It says don't over tighten it.
Yeah, don't try and like go all crazy with it. Just the instructions say to finger tighten it, and then give it about a half turn more with this sleeve right there. All right, guys. So everything that was required to install the Hensley is finally done. This pin was the last thing we needed to do. Now, before we actually hook up the truck and try and do a test pull, is that we need to go to the store and buy a torque wrench. I mean, essentially everything is hooked up on the Hensley, and it was not a difficult process. You just take the time to read it. And now that there's actually going to be a YouTube video that walks you through everything, which I could not believe did not exist, out of 300 hours of content that's loaded every minute, this is the one that now exists. So, all right, awesome. So now we're gonna go to the store, buy those couple of things we need, and then